Hey everybody, thanks for joining us again. Today we're going to cover part 2 of the Faster Pussycat story, continued from our previous episode. Here we go.
Music from the wrong side of the tracks. This is a show that drags you through the gritty alleys of sleaze rock, gutter glam, and all forms of dirty rock and roll. We're here to crank up the volume and dive deep into the dirtiest, sleaziest, most glamorous rock and roll out there. Whether it's the classics or the underground hits, we've got you covered. And now, here are your hosts, Andy and Gary.
In 1989, Faster Pussycat would return to the studio to record what would become their most successful album of their career.
It was their first gold album.
Yeah.
You know, the self-titled album didn't go gold until 2004. So, yeah, this is the first gold album.
Slow burn. Wake Me When It's Over was the second album, and this time around, the band moved away from their glam punk style. This album had more of a blues-influenced sound to it. And Wake Me When It's Over reached number 48 on the Billboard Top 200 chart, and this was based on the singles Poison Ivy and then the bigger hit House of Pain. House of Pain was as close to a power ballad as this band probably ever got. You know, they were all the rage back in the day, these power ballads.
Everybody had to have one.
Yeah, it was a must. In order for you to get on MTV, you must have a power ballad.
Who started that shit?
Motley Crue, Home Sweet Home.
Warrant, Heaven.
Yeah, those all came after.
Extreme, More Than Words.
Yeah.
Winger, 17.
Yeah, started a trend that just brought out the worst in a lot of bands.
Weird Al Yankovic. Nah.
House of Pain would ultimately be the band's highest charting single, and it reached number 28 on the Billboard Hot 100 list.
That's respectable.
That's really good. I mean, that's definitely top 40. And the song seemed to resonate with the public with its lyrics, and they were based on Tammy-Down's Absentee Father. The song did kind of avoid many of the syrupy, sweet tendencies that power ballads had taken on at the time. I'm looking at you, Steelheart. And the other standout track on this album is Slip of the Tongue. And it's classic Faster Pussycat. It's loaded with double entendre, sexual overtones, and a little bit of humor.
Double entendres. You know, Tammy's not exactly Shakespeare in the lyrics department, as evidenced by the lines, and I quote, in the song Little Dove. Blow my missile, rock me, little dove. Rock my missile, blow me, little dove. Do you see what they did there, Andy?
I do, but I don't understand your point.
That's a little turnaround, you know?
Yeah, that's top shelf lyrics.
So with double entendre, you know, there's not much room for interpretation there. They always talk about double entendre in songs. Well, why double? Single entendres get right to the point.
Right.
I mean, Blow Me Little Dove pretty much says it all, huh?
I think it explains it pretty clearly.
Although technically, I never understood the origin of the phrase blowjob, Andy. Shouldn't the correct phrase be suck job?
Yeah, that's a matter of semantics, though.
I guess. Very awkward to have someone trying to inflate your organ like a balloon animal, but I digress. Again, Andy, semantics.
But it is enjoyable for someone to try blowing up your organ.
Well, you know. You have to remember that Tammy said that they were kids at the time, you know, so these lyrics are, you know, reflective of that. He said he was only 22 at the time of the first album in 1987, so math not being me forte, to quote Michael Butler. How old would that make Tammy Down be now, Andy?
27, according to my math.
The picture of Dorian Gray. Rock and roll keep you young forever.
True.
Ask Keith Richards. Ask Ian Hunter. 84 and still kicking it out.
From the sophomore album from Faster Pussycat, here's a bit of their most successful single, House of Pain, which showcases a different sound for the band.
I don't know, Andy. This gets a little tedious at the end.
It does sort of roll on, like the ending takes longer than it should.
I'm like, is this thing ever going to end?
Yeah, it's like, we've written a song that lasts 2.5 minutes. We need another 30 seconds just to drag it out.
Of course, it's no November Rain by Guns N' Roses, but there you go. You know,
but what is?
I. Side bit of trivia right here. Do you know who the director was, Andy, for this song, House of Pain on MTV? Heavy rotation?
I do not.
Gentleman's name was Michael Bay.
Oh, Michael Bay.
Michael Bay, who went from directing music videos to becoming uber Hollywood producer of the Transformers franchise.
Yeah, very successful.
King of the jump cuts, which will actually give you a headache if you attempt to watch any of his stuff for a period longer than 30 seconds.
Yeah, I had an aneurysm watching one of his movies once.
Yeah, the original story is that Michael Bay had directed some Donny Osmond thing. And
talk about your sleaze rock royalty.
Exactly. But Elektra came to Tammy and said, hey, we got this director, and he just directed this Donny Osmond thing, but what he's doing, we really like, so we think you should give this guy a shot. And Tammy's like, well, you're the guy's paying for it. If that's who you want, that's who you want. And it just turns out to be Michael Bay. Interesting side note.
Yep.
Moving on.
So, Gary, do you remember when that wave pool out in Tempe, Big Surf, when they would host all those concerts for the local radio stations?
Big Surf was a legendary water park that was around for many, many, many years, where you would take the youngsters and there'd be the water slides. But the main attraction was they had this huge mechanical wave pool that would churn out these waves that were so large you could surf on them, and they'd rent rafts to the kids or whatever. So it was your ultimate outdoor water park experience that had been around for decades. Well, in order to increase some of the attendance and get some more money in the coffers, they decided to start having these outdoor rock shows with some pretty sizable names in attendance. And I was lucky enough to play one of these shows. The headliners back in the day were Arizona favorites, the Meat Puppets, and again, the Gin Blossoms. This was after they had been freshly signed, so they were kind of on their way up. And yeah, so I'm very familiar with this water park, Andy.
They would have bands that were metal bands, alternative bands that were kind of on their way up were usually who they would have, probably because they were affordable. But bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Concrete Blonde, Tesla, Warrant, and on one occasion, Faster Pussycat was on the bill. And guess what? I actually got to see the show this time.
No.
Yeah, finally. So during the set, there's some kind of shit going on down in front of the stage. I don't know exactly what, but it seemed,
always?
Yes, but it seemed like as a security guard was manhandling some female fan. And during all this commotion, it got the band's attention. So guitarist Greg Steele, he jumps up on the mic and he starts trash talking the security guard. And he's asking him if he wants a real fight. And
don't make me come down there.
But while Greg's threatening the guy, he's not saying he's going to kick his ass.
Don't make me not come down there.
Yeah, he tells the guy, you want to fight? We got some real men backstage working here that'll come out and be happy to come out and kick your ass for you.
I'm going to get my brother.
And it's like, that's a lot of posturing for somebody that then turns around and is like, oh no, I'm not going to fight you. These guys back here that we're paying to set us up, they're going to fight you.
Yeah, well, you can't break your pinky finger on your fret playing money hand and destroy the whole tour.
That's true. You got to think of the rest of the band and their money.
Don't make me get somebody bigger than me to come over there and make you stop picking on somebody smaller than you.
I'm telling my dad.
Insert cookie vocal monster here.
So after drummer Mark Michaels gets kicked out of the band for being stupid, he gets kicked out of the band because he was stupid enough to ship himself heroin through FedEx and ends up getting busted for it. So he gets fired from the band. And I saw Faster Pussycat not too long after that at the Celebrity Theater here in Phoenix.
You saw him again?
I saw him again. That's two times.
Andy.
Yeah, look at me racking up the points here.
I'm telling you, semi-professional, Andy.
Yeah, but I was surprised to see it was Frankie Benali from Quiet Riot playing the drums for him. And apparently he was going through a phase where he was kind of a hired gun for people, and he toured with Faster Pussycat, and then also he would tour with Shock Rock / Schlock Rock, Sleaze Masters, Wasp.
Regarding the mystery of whatever happened to original drummer Mark Michaels, who was legendary, again, as Andy said, for having heroin FedExed to him while on tour in Omaha, Nebraska.
Smart move.
Again, for which she was busted immediately and went to jail. Well, Tammy says, I don't know. Nobody knows. We've tried tracking him down regarding royalty payments from the records, doing searches. They all proved unsuccessful. I believe he's dead, honestly, but I don't have any proof, but no one's seen him. And the last that I heard that he was seen was back on the Whipped tour in Atlanta. Then I heard he was in New York and heard he got struck by a taxi cab and was slow ever since then. Now, I don't know how to take that. Slow physically because I got crushed by a cab, or slow because my head hit the pavement.
Or slow because he was a drummer.
Or, insert drummer jokes here, Andy. How low can we go? What did the drummer get on his IQ test? Drool. I've heard them all, Andy. I've heard them all. Anyways, but Tammy said that's just hearsay from someone in New York who told me, so I don't know if it's accurate or not. But nobody knows. Nobody can find Mark Michaels. He has ceased to be.
One of those mysteries of time. In 1990, Faster Pussycat records a cover version of Carly Simon's 1970s AM radio staple, You're So Vain. And this song was recorded for an album that was titled Rubaiyat, and it was a 40th anniversary album for the record label Elektra Records.
I don't know, Andy. Their cover songs leave much to be desired. I mean, I get it, but that You're So Vain song...
They could have done better.
It's just, I think what kills it is the monotone. Like, he just is monotony through the whole thing,
Right.
Same thing with, they tried that same kind of monotony approach with the song These Boots Are Made for Walkin' by Nancy Sinatra back in the mid-'60s. And then I understand that they just did an NXS cover song called Don't Change, although I haven't heard it, so I can't tell you. But I don't know. I'll let you guys out there listen for yourself to hear a little bit of You're So Vain. You tell me, you like it or you don't.
And here is a snippet of that cover song, You're So Vain, which was a major hit for Carly Simon, not so much for Faster Pussycat.
Wop, 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 wop.
In 1992, the band released their third album, and this was titled Whip. And despite solid reviews, this album did not fare as well as Wake Me When It's Over. It only reached number 90 on the Billboard chart. The single Nonstop to Nowhere, it performed pretty well, and it made it to number 35 on Billboard's mainstream rock chart, so top 40 again, not bad. And this album also featured the song Mr. Love Dog, which was written as a tribute to Mother Love Bone singer Andrew Wood, who had died of a heroin overdose in 1990.
Yeah, I think they were something called in Seattle Star Dog Champion or something along those lines before they morphed into Mother Love Bone. But you have to remember that Tammy lived in Seattle, and that's where he came from before he moved down to L.A. So he was personal friends with a lot of those guys. And when the grunge movement came in 91 with Nirvana and Soundgarden and Mudhoney and Alice in Chains, Tammy was friends with a lot of those guys. He was personal friends with Lane Staley, Andrew Wood, Jerry Cantrell, and so he really couldn't hold it against him when their music started to take off and pretty much, for lack of a better term, hair metal was being ushered out the door.
Right, and you want to support your friends' bands.
Mr. Love Dog, not to be confused with Mr. Rat Boy from the Motorcycle Boy episode, for those of you out there paying attention.
That's Mr. Rat Boy to you.
We're going to get a whole bunch of animal pseudo-names by the time our show's over.
And from that album, Whipped, here is the song Nonstop to Nowhere.
I like this one better than I like the first ballad. They're going to get more accolades over House of Pain, but I actually prefer this. If I had to pick of the two, this is the one I'm picking, Nonstop to Nowhere.
Gary, taking the strong stances today.
I tell you.
First class ticket on a nonstop to nowhere.
In 1993, Faster Pussycat parts ways with bassist Eric Stacey.
Eric Stacey, Tammy said in another interview that bassist Eric Stacey, after leaving Faster Pussycat, years later, while on vacation, did the same thing and tried to have drugs mailed to him and also got busted. And Tammy said, you would have thought that he would have learned from Mark's story, but,
yeah,
I guess he learned the hard way.
Sounds like it.
And then later after that, it turns out that Tammy says that Eric Stacey became somewhat of a weapons specialist / expert / militant / bit of a gun nut. So I don't know. That's the last that was heard on Eric Stacey.
Yeah, that's odd. I mean, I know playing in a hair metal band and then becoming a gun nut, it's a cliche for a reason.
Aggro.
So Eric was replaced with bassist Aaron Abelera, and the band went on to hit the road for a short warm-up tour, which was quickly followed by a full-fledged American tour before heading over to Japan, play a few shows there. They wrapped up this tour by playing one last sold-out show in Hollywood at the Hollywood Palace.
Yeah, I've been there.
Have you? Who have you seen there?
Cheap Trick on the Music for Hangovers CD release, and we saw the band REM and the Long Riders and the 3 O'Clock, part of the Paisley Underground.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking early 80s here.
Right. The band was playing mostly sold-out shows on these tours, so they probably had a lot more success as a live band than they ever did in the recording arena, because they only sold a couple million albums. I mean, I say only, but compared to their contemporaries that they came up with, like LA Guns and Guns N' Roses, that's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, again, it took a long time for the self-titled album to go gold from 87 to 2004, so steadily got there, but I'm sure they're not rolling in dough from royalty payments.
Right.
Which is a shame because, I think they should have got, a lot further than they did.
Yeah, for the amount of airplay they got, you would have thought they'd have sold a lot more records. In 1993, Faster Pussycat decides to call it a day. The band members are scattered to the wind to work on various new projects. Tammy develops an interest in industrial rock, and he ends up moving to Chicago to work with the band Pigface, who I did see live, and Tammy was not part of the band at that point. But Tammy did go on to form another band with Bang Tango's bassist Kyle. They named this band the Newly Deads, and they'd release a couple of albums while they were active. And industrial music was going to factor back into Faster Pussycat's future as well.
I went out and I knew nothing of this. So what do? It's like, Faster Pussycat's dropping a new album. Let's go get it immediately. So I go out and I buy The Power in the Glory Hole, and I take it home and I put it on, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
If I may, that's one of the best album titles of all time.
Put Power in the Glory Hole?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, this isn't the Faster Pussycat that I know and I love.
Yeah, so they took on that decidedly industrial bent, like taking classic Faster Pussycat songs, reworking them as an industrial sound.
Well, yeah, apparently, and you can't really fault. Well, we'll get into this in a little bit when we get a little bit further into this. But who signed up for 9 Inch Pussy?
Right. Well, I would sign up for it.
Well, I don't know.
So in 2001, Faster Pussycat reunited with original members Tammy, guitarist Brent, and Greg, and the band was rounded out by the newly dead bandmates Danny Nordell and Chad Stewart and Christian Simon. Nordell earned his sleaze cred playing in the band The Throbs, and he and Chad were also in a band together called Moto Christ.
Well, I guess the part of the deal with the original members and the new guys is that the original guys would lean heavily on what the original song sounded like, and then the second part of the set, the industrial guys would take over. So kind of weird.
Yeah, that's a little offbeat, really.
And what do each of the two do during the other? Like, right. What do the original guys do during the industrial set? What do the industrial guys do during the original set?
I guess they have like director's chairs off the side of the stage, and they sit there and smoke and drink.
Walk behind the little stage curtain.
Yeah. But also in 2001, the band released a compilation album titled Between the Valley of the Ultra Pussy, which definitely is a ripoff of a Russ Myers title.
Yeah, copyright infringement, lads.
Yeah. Maybe they were grandfathered in after working with him. This album featured industrial-style remixes of classic Faster Pussycat songs like Bathroom Wall, Where There's a Whip, There's a Way, Slip of the Tongue. And they even did a cover of Kiss's I Was Made for Lovin' You.
9 Inch Pussy.
I've not heard heard this Kiss cover, but I don't see a point in listening to it either.
I was not too enamored with the original, to tell you the truth.
There you go.
Kiss goes disco.
Yeah. This record obviously didn't appeal to the classic Faster Pussycat crowd.
What the fuck is this, Andy?
Right. They're used to the classic sound, the blues rock types of songs. And then instead they get Ministry, Nine Inch Nails, Skinny Puppy versions of these songs.
I don't know. Too heavy, too industrial.
Yeah. Was the world clamoring for an industrial version of Faster Pussycat songs? I say no.
Do we have a vote?
Yeah.
Was it a choice? Was it a choice between country Faster Pussycat songs, industrial, goth polka, Faster Pussycat?
That might have been better. During the 2001 reunion tour, Greg Steele ends up leaving the band, and Tracy Guns from LA Guns.
I'm out of here.
He ends up coming in to help complete the tour. And during the rest of the 2000s, Faster Pussycat falls apart again. And like so many bands from this era, they end up having the usual band name fights. And so there's two Faster Pussycats that were out there performing. You had Brent Muscat's version, and you had Tammy Downs' version. Brent Muscat's version had original Faster Pussycat members, Eric Stacy and Brett Bradshaw on the drums. And they played the songs in the classic style that everybody's used to from Faster Pussycat, whereas Tammy's band,
the real Faster Pussycat,
right? Tammy's the only original member, and they play all the songs in the industrial version. After quite a war of words between the two camps.
And actual lawsuits.
Right, lawsuits filed, money spent, probably a lot more money than it was worth. Brent Muscat, he ends up dropping the name Faster Pussycat, and he has a new band that was titled Sin City Sinners.
They played Las Vegas. I guess that's where Brent relocated to and has been there for quite a while in Las Vegas, and I guess he's got a steady gig out there, and he makes pretty good money, casino money,
Yeah.
And he's been doing it for quite a while, but I guess I can understand both points of view. I guess I maybe could understand Tammy not wanting to be tied down and doing the same old rehash stuff over and over and over again and wanting to go in a different direction. And for him at the time, that was what piqued his interest, was going in an industrial slant. But I can also see like the diehard fans, the fans that grew up with Faster and the stuff that we still play somewhat to this day, and wanting a traditional sound. I guess both. Give me the original any day over the industrial, but
I agree.
Apparently Brent suffered a small bout of cancer, and between the cancer, the stress, the COVID, the shutdown of Vegas, his inability to play shows, the money, he just eventually said, fuck it, and gave up trying to get the name Faster Pussycat. I don't know if they've all, Andy, maybe you'll be able to tell me, I don't know if they've all reconciled since then, or buried the hatchet, so to speak, not in the forehead, but...
They've reconciled to a certain degree. Because in August of 2015, they performed at the Cat House, and Brent Muscat, Eric Stacy, and Greg Steele from that classic lineup, they all joined Tammy on stage with his then band, and they played songs like classic songs like The Bathroom Wall and Babylon.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I saw a YouTube clip of kind of the same thing, the original members along with the hired hands, and it's very awkward. Yeah. Very awkward. I guess it's an outdoor show somewhere, and Tammy's in full industrial garb with the German hat and the black fingernails and a cigarette and black lipstick and eyeshadow and the whole 9 yards. And then you got the hired guns that are the new Faster Pussycat, and then you got the original guys who don't look anything like they used to look. And of course, why would you? And I don't mean that in a bad way, like overweight or out of shape or old or infirmed or whatever, Right. You're older, you move on, you cut your hair or whatever. So you've got this amalgamation of people on stage, old and new, and it's just awkward.
Is it like tension awkward, or just it's just not coming
really
together?
Knows what to do, and who's stepping up to the mic to do gang vocals, and who's taking the lead, who's not taking the lead? Is it the new guy? Is it the old guy? Is it seniority? Is it not? It's a mishmash. It's a train wreck. It's very entertaining to watch, but very awkward.
Yeah.
Did I say that word enough, Andy? Awkward?
Awkward? I don't think so.
Okay.
Did you say it at all?
It's a little bit.
to call back to the industrial stuff, maybe if Tammy's side project, The Newly Deads, if that had taken off, maybe there would not have been an industrial Faster Pussycat. But I don't know. He apparently got that under his skin and just really went with it.
Yeah, I don't know much about the bands Pigface or the Newly Deads, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Don't know very much about them.
Most don't.
There you go.
But Tammy's still out there touring under the name Faster Pussycat. And back in 2022, they released the single Like a Ghost, which also had a B-side that was a cover of Johnny Thunder's song Pirate Love. And
Pirate Love.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be careful, Andy. I think there's a hook involved with Pirate Love.
There's a hook, there's an eye patch, and maybe even
there's a wooden leg.
A wooden leg. There you go.
Splinters.
Watch
out. Okay. Pirate Love. I'm going to pass.
Yeah. And then they toured with LA Guns, and by all accounts, those performances were pretty well received. It's kind of hard to say what's next for Faster Pussycat. You know, after decades of transformation, they've kind of cemented themselves as one of the glam metal's grittiest, most unapologetic acts, and they've got a legacy you can't take away. I mean, they're one of the last half of the 80s, I would say the big three from glam out of LA at the end of the 80s with Guns N' Roses, Faster Pussycat, LA Guns. So they've got a legacy there.
Yeah, I guess too also regarding their longevity and everything, I guess apparently Tammy had quite the health scare a while back, and in an interview on the Talk Louder podcast from August 2023, Tammy says he's been sober from all drugs, cigarettes, drink, alcohol for 6 years at the time of the podcast recording. Again, that was August of 2023. And in that podcast, Tammy said that he was a rabid chain smoker who was so addicted that he would have multiple cigarettes burning at the same time in ashtrays in different rooms of the house. Asked what effect did quitting smoking do for his voice, he said, well, it made his job a hell of a lot easier and resulted in no problems with his voice during their whole tour for that year. I wasn't winded as much, just an overall benefit. But as his reasoning for quitting everything was while out on the M3 tour, he claimed to be not feeling well and thought that it may be walking pneumonia, and said that when he laid down back at the hotel, he couldn't breathe. Then he stood up and he could breathe. He said that he felt like he was drowning. So their next show was in Delaware, and he went to the doctor to learn he had congestive heart failure with fluid buildup in his lungs.
Oh, that's pretty severe.
Well, that was his wake-up call to quit everything, and when he returned to L.A., he had to see a heart specialist at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. I guess they put him on nicotine patches, which helped him eventually quit for good, and he says quitting drugs and alcohol was easy compared to quitting smoking.
Wow.
What they told him in the hospital in Delaware was that he had heart failure, he's diabetic, probably has lung cancer, and kidney cancer. Well, that prompted him to seek out a heart doctor and an oncologist upon his return to L.A., where luckily it turned out that he didn't have cancer. It was a growth on his kidney, which was non-cancerous. Interesting side note is the doctor that was treating Tammy was Farrah Fawcett's doctor. Tammy was watching a 20-year, 25-year anniversary show on Farrah's passing, and the same doctor was being interviewed, and Tammy shouted, "That's my doctor!"
Rubbing elbows with the rich and famous.
Yeah, well, the interviewer on the podcast commented that he saw Faster Pussycat on a somewhat recent Monsters of Rock cruise, and the general consensus with the fans and the people that he talked to was that Tammy hasn't sounded this good in years. So it seems to be a win-win situation for him.
Yeah, definitely. It was probably a big improvement for him all the way around.
Yeah, so good on him. And we wish him continued success, but he claims that no matter what, he will never quit coffee or bacon.
Well, I agree with him 1,000% on that, because neither of those are bad for you, right? They're
I think
part of your natural diet.
Isn't bacon part of the major food groups?
It is the major food group.
I would gladly kick the green leafy stuff off the plate.
Oh, yeah. What green leafy stuff?
You've never seen a cave drawing of a salad, Andy?
Never.
Just
never
stick
will.
figures chasing a bison around with a pointed stick.
Right. Meat, meat, meat.
Bacon, bacon, bacon. Well, hey, so that pretty much wraps up what we have on Faster Pussycat. We hope you enjoyed listening and hanging in with us up to this point. Thank you very much. And before we go, we'd just like, Andy, you have any final words for the good people out there?
Yeah, we appreciate you guys listening to us. If you have any bands you want us to talk about, shoot us an email or message us on Facebook, and I would be happy to cover them for you. We appreciate your time. So remember, keep it trashy.
Give us a like, share with your friends, keep listening. Thank you very much for being out there, and thank Thanks for the memories.
That's it. We're tits up now.
Stay frosty.
Take care. And to our fallen comrade, Mr. Mink, I think Pink Floyd said it best. Wish you were here. You're here in spirit, brother.
Godspeed, Mink, wherever you may be.
You've been listening to the Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the dirty world of rock and roll. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us reach more listeners like you.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rock and Roll Gutter Podcast for all the latest updates, news, and more.
Got questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes? Reach out to us at rnrguttermail@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
So join us again next time for another wild ride through the raw and gritty side of rock and roll. So until then, keep it trashy.